What is up, pop culture detectives? Have you ever stared at those massive, sold-out stadium crowds and wondered exactly how much cash is moving behind the scenes for the 7 undisputed kings of K-pop? We all know they rule the global charts, but when the pyrotechnics fade and the stage goes dark, who is actually taking home the biggest slice of that multi-million-dollar pie per concert? Is it the fierce leader, the golden maknae, or maybe the quiet genius producing the beats? The truth is absolutely wild and might just change how you look at the industry forever. Today, we are diving deep into the ultimate financial breakdown to reveal the top 7 BTS members ranked by earnings per concert. Who truly holds the ultimate crown of wealth and power? Number 7. Kim Namjoon, the brain behind the billion-dollar beats. When you step into a roaring stadium packed with over 70,000 screaming fans holding glowing army bombs, the energy is almost overwhelming. But behind that blinding sea of light lies a colossal financial machine that turns every single beat into pure gold. Kicking off our countdown at number 7 is none other than the master architect and philosophical spine of the group, Kim Namjoon, widely known to the world as RM. Now, you might be asking yourself why the brilliant mastermind who birthed the very identity of BTS finds himself at this spot on our concert earnings list. And the answer is both fascinating and deeply rooted in how music industry economics actually function. During BTS's legendary Love Yourself World Tour, which shattered global records by pulling in anywhere between $170 million to over $250 million across 62 breathless stadium performances, every single member walked away with an estimated $3 to $5 million per night in direct performance fees alone. But when you dissect the true mechanics of live show revenues, performance fees are only one piece of a much larger puzzle. Namjoon's journey from a teenage underground rapper named Runch Randa spitting bars in underground Seoul basements to leading a multi-billion-dollar cultural phenomenon is nothing short of miraculous. When Bang Si-hyuk first discovered him, he didn't just see a rapper, he saw the cornerstone of a global empire. And that creative foundation is precisely what makes RM's concert income so uniquely structured. Unlike a purely touring performer who relies strictly on ticket sales and physical attendance, RM holds a hidden superpower inside his concert paycheck, his massive catalog of registered songwriting and composition credits with the Korea Music Copyright Association. With over 200 song credits to his name, every time BTS steps onto a stadium stage and plays hits like Dynamite, Butter, Spring Day, or Idol, Namjoon isn't just earning a base performance fee as an artist, he is also accumulating massive public performance royalties that trigger the moment those stadium speakers reverberate across the venue. Imagine standing in the middle of a packed Wembley Stadium or Los Angeles' SoFi Stadium, watching tens of thousands of people sing words that you penned in a tiny studio late at night. Every voice echoing back to the stage represents both an emotional triumph and a financial stream that continues to flow long after the final bow. Yet when we examine number 7, Kim Namjoon, the brain behind the billion-dollar beats. When you step into a roaring stadium packed with over 70,000 screaming fans holding glowing army bombs, the energy is almost overwhelming. But behind that blinding sea of light lies a colossal financial machine that turns every single beat into pure gold. Kicking off our countdown at number 7 is none other than the master architect and philosophical spine of the group, Kim Namjoon, widely known to the world as RM. Now, you might be asking yourself why the brilliant mastermind who birthed the very identity of BTS finds himself at this spot on our concert earnings list. And the answer is both fascinating and deeply rooted in how music industry economics actually function. During BTS's legendary Love Yourself World Tour, which shattered global records by pulling in anywhere between $170 million to over $250 million across 62 breathless stadium performances, every single member walked away with an estimated $3 to $5 million per night in direct performance fees alone. But when you dissect the true mechanics of live show revenues, performance fees are only one piece of a much larger puzzle. Namjoon's journey from a teenage underground rapper named Runch Randa spitting bars in underground Seoul basements to leading a multi-billion-dollar cultural phenomenon is nothing short of miraculous. When Bang Si-hyuk first discovered him, he didn't just see a rapper, he saw the cornerstone of a global empire. And that creative foundation is precisely what makes RM's concert income so uniquely structured. Unlike a purely touring performer who relies strictly on ticket sales and physical attendance, RM holds a hidden superpower inside his concert paycheck, his massive catalog of registered songwriting and composition credits with the Korea Music Copyright Association. With over 200 song credits to his name, every time BTS steps onto a stadium stage and plays hits like Dynamite, Butter, Spring Day, or Idol, Namjoon isn't just earning a base performance fee as an artist, he is also accumulating massive public performance royalties that trigger the moment those stadium speakers reverberate across the venue. Imagine standing in the middle of a packed Wembley Stadium or Los Angeles' SoFi Stadium, watching tens of thousands of people sing words that you penned in a tiny studio late at night. Every voice echoing back to the stage represents both an emotional triumph and a financial stream that continues to flow long after the final bow. Yet when we examine solo concert revenue, Namjoon has taken a distinctly artistic path compared to some of his bandmates. Following the release of his critically acclaimed solo album Indigo, RM chose to perform intimate, small-scale live sessions at venues like the Rolling Hall in Seoul, prioritizing raw human connection and artistic integrity over massive multi-million-dollar arena tours. While these boutique performances yielded lower immediate ticket revenues compared to massive stadium runs, they elevated his cultural prestige to unfathomable heights, leading directly to a monumental global ambassadorship with the ultra-luxury Italian fashion house Bottega Veneta. When Namjoon attends high-fashion galas or incorporates high-end luxury pieces into his live stage wardrobe, it solidifies his status as an elite global tastemaker whose influence transcends mere pop music. Behind the scenes, leading 6 other incredibly ambitious individuals through high-stakes world tours demands an unimaginable physical and emotional toll. Fans often see the polished, charismatic leader speaking eloquently at the United Nations or commanding stadium crowds in fluent English, but few realize the mental weight he carries as the translator, diplomat, and creative engine during demanding multi-city tours spanning North America, Europe, and Asia. Balancing intense choreography, pitch-perfect vocals, continuous media interviews, and sound checks leaves very little room for error, yet Namjoon manages it with a grounded humility that keeps the entire group unified. His financial baseline from group touring remains staggering, ensuring that even at the 7th spot, his concert-related income puts him in the top tier of global music earners. But as BTS prepares for their monumental comeback stadium tours, Namjoon's dual revenue engine, combining guaranteed group performance cuts with unmatched compositional royalties, ensures that his financial legacy is permanently etched into K-pop history. Does the quiet genius behind the group's biggest hits actually care about being #1 on the financial charts? Or is his true reward the immortal legacy of his art, echoing through packed stadiums forever? Stay tuned, because as we move up this list, the numbers only get crazier, and the financial battle between the members takes an unexpected turn that will leave your jaw on the floor.
Number 6. Kim Sok-jin, the worldwide handsome multi-million-dollar luxury magnate. Are you guys still breathing after that massive financial revelation about our brilliant leader, RM? Because we are just getting started on this crazy money trail, and taking the number 6 spot on our jaw-dropping list is none other than the eldest brother of the group, the undisputed visual king himself, Kim Sok-jin. Just try to wrap your head around this insane timeline for a second. While most normal human beings would want to take a massive, well-deserved vacation after completing grueling mandatory military service, as an active-duty assistant drill instructor, Jin literally stepped out of the military base in June 2024 and instantly transformed into a one-man global economic powerhouse that left industry experts completely speechless. When we talk about concert earnings, we have to look at the sheer scale of Jin's individual drawing power, which exploded into the stratosphere with his highly anticipated solo tour, the Run Sok-jin Episode Tour in 2025. Backed by his incredibly successful solo albums Happy and Echo, this monumental 20-show tour spanning across major arenas in North America, Asia, and Europe was an absolute masterclass in live performance economics, ultimately drawing in over 287,000 screaming fans and generating a staggering $46.1 million in box office revenue. Imagine standing inside the iconic O2 Arena in London, or the massive Makuhari Messe in Japan, watching a sea of flashing RJ light sticks, while this man flawlessly belts out the emotional high notes of the astronaut, transitions seamlessly into the chaotic joy of Supertuna, and brings the house to tears with soul-stirring live piano renditions of Epiphany and Awake, all while single-handedly pulling in an average of over $2.3 million per night in gross ticket sales alone. But the true secret behind Jin's astronomical earning power per concert isn't just about the tickets sold at the door. It is deeply intertwined with his unprecedented dominance over the global luxury and lifestyle endorsement market, acting as a powerful financial multiplier every time he steps onto a stage. Did you know that since his discharge, Jin secured a mind-blowing 12 major solo endorsement deals, essentially turning himself into a walking, breathing multinational conglomerate? While he is flawlessly executing complex choreography on stage, you have to remember that this is the same man who was crowned the global ambassador for the elite French high jewelry house Fred, the iconic Italian fashion giant Gucci, and the premium athleisure brand Alo Yoga. In fact, his immense global influence was the driving force behind Alo Yoga's aggressive expansion into South Korea, perfectly timed with the launch of their massive 6-story flagship store at Dosan Park in Seoul in early 2025. Every single time Jin wears a specific designer piece during a sound check, flashes a luxury watch during an encore, or simply breathes near a product, it triggers an instant global sellout, generating millions of dollars in earned media value that gives him unparalleled leverage when negotiating his base performance contracts. The synergy between his live tours and his commercial power is flawless. His role as the face of Visit Seoul, Dolby Atmos, Laneige, and even Dongwon Tuna means his image is plastered across global billboards, ensuring that his concerts are not just musical performances, but monumental pop culture marketing events that attract ultra-premium ticketing and massive corporate sponsorships. Have you ever stopped to calculate just how much power a single live performance holds when the person holding the microphone is an international icon who can crash a brand's website simply by mentioning their name during a live broadcast? That level of economic gravitational pull is precisely what sets Kim Sok-jin apart from the rest of the industry, as he seamlessly blends the raw emotional intensity of a dedicated musician with the strategic marketing genius of a seasoned corporate magnate. He didn't just return from the military to reclaim his spot. He returned to completely rewrite the financial rulebook of what a modern K-pop idol can achieve in the solo touring space. And let us not forget the colossal financial tsunami that is the BTS group comeback. When Jin takes the stage with his 6 brothers for the historic 2026-2027 Arirang Global Stadium Tour, starting with that monumental Netflix live-streamed event at Gwanghwamun Square in Seoul, we are talking about an entirely different dimension of wealth. Economic analysts project that this massive reunion tour could generate over 2.7 trillion won in broader economic spillovers, placing their live shows in the same elite commercial class as the biggest tours in human history, rivaling the economic impacts of titans like Taylor Swift and Beyoncé. The logistics behind such a colossal undertaking means that every single ticket scanned, every piece of premium merchandise sold at the stadium pop-up booths, and every exclusive VIP package purchased contributes to an astronomical baseline salary for each member. For Jin, who patiently carried the heavy emotional burden of being the first member to pause his career for enlistment, his current financial triumph feels less like a lucky break and more like a carefully calculated coronation. He entered big hit entertainment simply wanting to be an actor, having no prior singing or dancing background. Yet through sheer, unyielding determination, he forged himself into a world-class vocalist whose silver voice commands arenas worldwide.
His income stream per concert is heavily bolstered by his diverse portfolio of brand alignments, meaning his overall net worth skyrockets simultaneously through live performance fees, digital streaming boosts, and global brand visibility bonuses every single time the curtain rises. It's a brilliant, multifaceted revenue strategy perfectly suited for a man who famously operates with immense emotional intelligence, witty charm, and a razor-sharp business acumen hidden beneath his playful, worldwide handsome persona. We often see him joking around, lifting the mood of the group when the pressures of global fame become too heavy, but make no mistake, behind that bright laughter is a highly disciplined professional who understands exactly how to maximize his market value in an industry that constantly demands perfection. He proves that true star power only ages like fine wine, transforming from a shy rookie into a confident veteran who can hold 50,000 people in the palm of his hand with just a wink and a flying kiss. But here's the ultimate question that should be keeping you on the edge of your seat. If the eldest Hyung, who practically owns the luxury endorsement world and just pulled in over $46 million on a brief 20-show solo run, is only sitting at number 6 on our list, just how unbelievably massive are the bank accounts of the remaining 5 members? The stakes are getting higher, the stadiums are getting bigger, and the financial secrets we're about to uncover will completely shatter everything you thought you knew about the business of K-pop. So buckle up, grab your army bombs, and get ready, because our next member on the list has a concert earning strategy so fiercely independent and wildly lucrative that it completely redefined the rules of the game.
Number 5. Jung Ho-sok, the Ultimate Dance Commander's $84 million solo takeover. If you thought the numbers we just talked about were completely out of this world, prepare to have your mind entirely blown into another dimension, because coming in hot at the number 5 spot is the literal sunshine of BTS, the unparalleled dance captain and the undisputed king of the stage, Jung Ho-sok, known to the globe as J-Hope. Let us take a deep reflective journey back to where this unbelievable financial dominance truly began. We all remember that historic, earth-shattering moment when Hobi became the very first South Korean artist to headline the main stage at Lollapalooza in Chicago, affectionately dubbed Hobipalooza by the fans, where he stood alone before over 100,000 people and proved that he was an absolute titan of live performance. But nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, could have prepared the music industry for the apocalyptic financial triumph that was his post-military 2025 solo world tour, perfectly titled Hope on the Stage, which completely rewrote the history books and shattered every single expectation imaginable. Let us talk hard, undeniable facts for a second. According to industry giants like Touring Data and Polestar, this jaw-dropping 33-date tour across North America and Asia didn't just do well, it officially became the highest-grossing tour by a South Korean soloist in the entire history of music, pulling in a truly staggering $84.7 million. Just let that number sink in for a moment while you picture the sheer magnitude of over 504,000 screaming fans filling every single available seat from February to June of 2025, where not a single ticket went unsold. J-Hope didn't just show up and dance, he was the ultimate visionary mastermind, heavily involved in every single microscopic detail of the production, famously stating that he was hands-on with everything from the intricate stage design and relentless choreography to the high-end fashion and even the specific stage props, pouring his entire heart, soul, and blood into every aspect of the live experience. The economic breakdown of this tour is where things get truly insane. His North American stops alone netted an unbelievable $35 million across just 12 shows, while his 21 explosive shows in Asia brought in a massive $49.7 million. Imagine being inside the legendary Kyocera Dome in Osaka, Japan, where a mind-boggling 35,077 fans packed the venue in a single night to witness his biggest single-show crowd, or standing in the massive BMO Stadium in Los Angeles, where J-Hope made history yet again by becoming the absolute. Number 5. Jung Ho-sok, the Ultimate Dance Commander's $84 million solo takeover.
If you thought the numbers we just talked about were completely out of this world, prepare to have your mind entirely blown into another dimension, because coming in hot at the number 5 spot is the literal sunshine of BTS, the unparalleled dance captain and the undisputed king of the stage, Jung Ho-sok, known to the globe as J-Hope. Let us take a deep reflective journey back to where this unbelievable financial dominance truly began. We all remember that historic, earth-shattering moment when Hobi became the very first South Korean artist to headline the main stage at Lollapalooza in Chicago, affectionately dubbed Hobipalooza by the fans, where he stood alone before over 100,000 people and proved that he was an absolute titan of live performance. But nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, could have prepared the music industry for the apocalyptic financial triumph that was his post-military 2025 solo world tour, perfectly titled Hope on the Stage, which completely rewrote the history books and shattered every single expectation imaginable. Let us talk hard, undeniable facts for a second. According to industry giants like Touring Data and Polestar, this jaw-dropping 33-date tour across North America and Asia didn't just do well, it officially became the highest-grossing tour by a South Korean soloist in the entire history of music, pulling in a truly staggering $84.7 million. Just let that number sink in for a moment while you picture the sheer magnitude of over 504,000 screaming fans filling every single available seat from February to June of 2025, where not a single ticket went unsold. J-Hope didn't just show up and dance, he was the ultimate visionary mastermind, heavily involved in every single microscopic detail of the production, famously stating that he was hands-on with everything from the intricate stage design and relentless choreography to the high-end fashion and even the specific stage props, pouring his entire heart, soul, and blood into every aspect of the live experience. The economic breakdown of this tour is where things get truly insane. His North American stops alone netted an unbelievable $35 million across just 12 shows, while his 21 explosive shows in Asia brought in a massive $49.7 million. Imagine being inside the legendary Kyocera Dome in Osaka, Japan, where a mind-boggling 35,077 fans packed the venue in a single night to witness his biggest single-show crowd, or standing in the massive BMO Stadium in Los Angeles, where J-Hope made history yet again by becoming the absolute first Korean solo act to completely sell out and fill the stadium for 2 consecutive electrifying nights. The atmosphere inside those arenas was pure electricity, a perfectly curated emotional roller coaster where the setlist masterfully flowed through 5 distinct thematic chapters: ambition, dream, expectations, fantasy, and wish/encore, seamlessly blending the gritty, raw hip-hop vibes of Jack in the Box with the smooth street dance anthems at Hope on the Street Volume 1. During the middle of this grueling high-stakes tour, Hobi didn't just coast on his past hits, he actively shocked the global fanbase by unexpectedly dropping 3 brand-new, incredibly fresh tracks: Mona Lisa, Sweet Dreams, and Killin' It Girl, adding a massive surge of hype, media attention, and digital streaming revenue right in the middle of his relentless touring schedule. And let us talk about the sheer spending power of ARMY at these venues, because J-Hope's fans didn't just show up to watch the show, they arrived ready to invest in the experience, with financial analysts estimating that attendees at his United States concerts spent a staggering average of $60 per person on tour-exclusive merchandise alone, with over 22% of the massive crowds purchasing physical hoodies, light sticks, and exclusive mementos, creating a secondary multi-million-dollar river of revenue that flows directly into his overall concert profitability. And we simply cannot talk about J-Hope's monumental concert earnings without mentioning the deeply emotional climax of the tour, the grand finale at Goyong Stadium in South Korea, which practically broke the internet when it transformed into an impromptu, tear-jerking mini BTS reunion as Jin and Jungkook unexpectedly rushed the stage to perform the emotional ballad Jae Vu alongside him, while RM, Suga, Jimin, and V proudly watched from the VIP seats, marking a legendary, unofficial OT7 reunion that sent the entire K-pop world into an absolute frenzy. This historic tour didn't just fill Hobie's personal bank account. His sheer, undeniable star power single-handedly powered an 85.7% surge in Hybe's North American revenue for the first quarter of 2025, literally carrying a significant portion of a massive corporate conglomerate's quarterly earnings, proving that his live performances are literal economic stimulators. But wait, because J-Hope's per-concert earning power isn't strictly tied to ticket sales, music streams, and merchandise alone. We have to factor in his colossal status in the ultra-competitive world of high fashion, where he reigns supreme as a global house ambassador for the legendary French luxury brand Louis Vuitton, and more recently, stepping into the elite world of luxury horology as the face of the prestigious Swiss watchmaker Audemars Piguet. Every single time he glides across a concert stage wearing a custom jewel-encrusted Louis Vuitton tour outfit or flashes an exclusive time watch to the stadium cameras, the earned media value skyrockets into the millions, creating a brilliantly symbiotic financial loop where his music elevates his fashion influence and his high-end endorsements exponentially increase his overall market valuation, allowing him to command absolute top-tier premium rates. From a young, hungry street dancer in the underground crews of Gwangju known as Smile Hoya to a multi-millionaire global star power who commands arenas with the snap of his fingers, J-Hope's journey is a masterclass in relentless hard work, pristine professionalism, and unyielding passion for his craft. Behind that signature bright smile and infectious laughter lies a fiercely strict, uncompromising dance leader who demands absolute perfection during midnight soundchecks, ensuring that every single fan who saves up their hard-earned money for a ticket receives an unforgettable, life-changing spectacle of light, sound, and raw energy. When you combine his historic $84 million solo tour triumph with his guaranteed multi-million-dollar performance fees for the highly anticipated 2026-2027 BTS group stadium tours, it becomes crystal clear why Jung Ho-sak comfortably secures this high-ranking spot on our list, cementing his legacy not just as a phenomenal artist, but as a bona fide live entertainment billionaire in the making. But hold your breath, Army, because if the highest-grossing soloist in South Korean history is only sitting at number 5, what kind of unimaginable record-breaking wealth, shadowy financial empires, and mind-bending royalties are waiting for us in the top 4? Are you absolutely ready to dive into the minds of the members who have completely monopolized the global charts and rewritten the very definition of wealth in the music industry?
Number 4. Min Yoongi, the shadow producer, the underground genius who conquered global arenas. Have you ever stopped to wonder what happens when a struggling underground rapper from Daegu who once had to choose between paying for a bus ride home or buying a cheap bowl of black bean noodles suddenly transforms into one of the most terrifyingly powerful financial forces in the entire global music industry? Taking the number 4 spot on our countdown is the absolute mastermind of production, the fierce, unapologetic spitter of truths, and the man with 3 completely distinct multi-million-dollar personas, Min Yoongi, affectionately known as Suga, and globally feared on the charts as August D. To truly comprehend the apocalyptic scale of Yoongi's concert earnings, we have to look back at the historical earthquake that was his 2023 solo world tour, Suga August D Tour D-Day, which literally set the entire touring industry on fire and fundamentally broke every single box office expectation known to man. We are talking about a fiercely independent hip-hop artist who stepped onto stages across North America and Asia completely alone, armed with nothing but a microphone, a live band, a piano, and a glass of whiskey, yet he single-handedly grossed an absolutely staggering $57.2 million across just 28 sold-out shows. Let that astronomical figure marinate in your mind for a second. He didn't just sell out these arenas, he completely obliterated records, becoming the highest-grossing Asian soloist in United States history. Imagine the pure, unadulterated electricity vibrating through the legendary Kia Forum in Inglewood, California, where Yoongi didn't just perform, he historically became the first rapper, not just K-pop idol, but the first rapper in the entire history of the United States to gross over $3 million in a single arena concert, raking in an unprecedented $3.164 million in just one night.
When you divide that massive tour revenue by 28 shows, his raw earning power per concert is enough to make seasoned Wall Street executives sweat, averaging over $2 million in gross revenue every single time he walked out onto the stage. But the actual depth of Yoongi's financial empire extends far beyond the physical ticket scans at the venue doors. Unlike traditional pop stars who rely solely on performance fees, Yoongi is an absolute titan in the realm of intellectual property and musical copyrights, standing incredibly tall as a full-fledged member of the Korea Music Copyright Association with well over 160 registered songwriting, producing, and composing credits to his name. This means that every single time the massive stadium speakers erupt with the heavy bass of Dai Chuita, the aggressive trap beats of Hagum, or the emotionally devastating piano chords of Snooze, Yoongi is not just getting paid as a performer, he is simultaneously collecting massive producer royalties, composition royalties, and mechanical royalties, creating a terrifyingly lucrative triple income stream that actively generates wealth while he is physically on stage, pouring his soul out to the fans. Let us not forget that his legendary Midas touch extends far outside the protective walls of BTS. Yoongi has produced absolute monster, chart-topping hits for other industry giants, from Psy's viral stadium-shaking anthem That to IU's deeply emotional acoustic masterpiece 8, and even Halsey's haunting Suga's Interlude, meaning that his bank account is constantly being fed by an endless web of global streaming royalties, even when he is fast asleep. Furthermore, when you look at the raw data from his solo tour, the average ticket price was sitting at a premium $178, and his Asian leg alone, which included historic, earth-shattering stuffs in Jakarta at the ICE BSD, where he pulled in an astonishing $4.3 million over 3 explosive nights, proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that his financial dominance was never just limited to the Western Hemisphere. And his economic gravitational pull doesn't simply stop when the live concert ends and the house lights come up, because Yoongi essentially found a brilliant way to monetize the sacred memory of the concert itself in a way that completely shattered cinematic box office records. When his live tour was repackaged into a theatrical release titled Suga, August D Tour D-Day the Movie in April 2024, it instantly became the highest-grossing cinema event ever from a K-pop solo artist, pulling in an additional mind-blowing $10.16 million globally in a severely limited run. Fans were literally packing massive IMAX theaters from the streets of Mexico City all the way to Berlin, Germany, spending millions of dollars just to relive the raw, visceral trauma and eventual triumph of him screaming the lyrics to Amygdala while dramatically collapsing on the stage, or passionately playing the acoustic guitar famously signed by all his BTS brothers, proving that his emotional vulnerability is not just an expression of artistic genius, but also a globally commodified phenomenon that fans are willing to invest in over and over again. But to fully calculate his net worth and his true per-concert value, you absolutely must factor in his colossal influence in the realm of high-end luxury and global sports, because Yoongi isn't just a musician, he is a meticulously curated global ambassador for the elite Italian fashion house Valentino, frequently seen draped in custom, tailored Valentino menswear that perfectly complements his dark, introverted, and fiercely independent aesthetic, while simultaneously holding the prestigious, highly coveted title of Global Ambassador for the National Basketball Association. Every time Yoongi attends an NBA game courtside, rubbing shoulders with basketball legends, or hits a concert stage wearing a bespoke, custom-made Valentino piece, he commands endorsement fees that easily rival the base salaries of professional athletes. Yoongi is the living, breathing embodiment of a self-made empire. He built his kingdom not with a manufactured bubblegum pop persona, but with raw, bleeding honesty, attacking his depression, his past traumas, and his societal frustrations with a lyrical ferocity that resonates deeply with millions of devoted listeners worldwide. When he eventually reunites with his 6 brothers for the massive, highly anticipated 2026 group comeback stadium tours, he won't just be returning as the lead rapper and producer of BTS, he'll be stepping on that stage as a legendary, history-making soloist who fundamentally proved that a Korean rapper speaking his unvarnished truth in his native tongue can effortlessly single-handedly conquer the most competitive, gate-kept music markets on the planet. But hold on to your seats, pop culture detectives, because if the absolute historic $57 million tour dominance of Min Yoongi only lands him at number 4 on our explosive list, the sheer, unimaginable magnitude of wealth waiting in our top 3 is guaranteed to make your head spin entirely off your shoulders. Are you mentally and emotionally prepared to meet the elite 3 whose financial gravity literally shapes the modern entertainment economy?
Number 3. Park Ji-min, the Billboard history maker and LVMH's ultimate billion-dollar muse. Are you guys ready to enter the absolute upper echelon of global pop culture royalty? Because at the number 3 spot on our earth-shattering countdown, we have the man with the voice of an angel and the terrifying economic power of a multinational corporation, the unrivaled king of contemporary dance, Park Ji-min. Just pause for a second and try to fully comprehend the absolute magnitude of what this man has achieved as a soloist in the fiercely competitive Western music market. Long before we even begin to dissect his mind-blowing live performance fees, we have to acknowledge the undeniable, history-making fact that Jimin completely shattered the glass ceiling of the music industry by becoming the absolute first South Korean solo artist in the 65-year history of the United States Billboard Hot 100 chart to debut at the number 1 spot with his hauntingly beautiful synth-pop masterpiece, Like Crazy, ruthlessly knocking off massive Western pop titans like Miley Cyrus from the absolute peak of the mountain. That monumental victory wasn't just a win for K-pop, it was a cultural earthquake that fundamentally redefined the global earning potential of Asian soloists. Because when you hold a Billboard Hot 100 number 1 title, your baseline appearance fee for any live concert, festival, or solo showcase instantly skyrockets into the absolute stratosphere. While some members embarked on massive, grueling multi-continent solo world tours prior to their military enlistment, Jimin's approach to solo live performances and his subsequent per-concert earning power followed a completely highly exclusive and unbelievably lucrative trajectory that perfectly mirrors his status as an ultra-premium luxury icon. Financial analysts have calculated that when Jimin steps onto a stage, whether it is an exclusive, highly sought-after solo fan concert event in Seoul, a specialized broadcast performance, or taking his rightful place alongside his 6 brothers for their massive billion-dollar stadium tours, his individual economic weight is heavily magnified by what the industry terrifyingly refers to as the Jimin effect. This phenomenon is so powerful that it actually dictates global market trends. We are talking about a man who wields such unimaginable influence that the massive LVMH conglomerate, the largest luxury goods company on the planet, aggressively locked him down as the global brand ambassador for not just 1, but 2 of their most prestigious flagship houses, the legendary French fashion giant Dior and the iconic American high jewelry titan Tiffany & Co. Every single time Jimin graces a concert stage wearing a custom-tailored Dior suit interwoven with millions of dollars worth of exclusive diamond-encrusted Tiffany & Co. hardware, he isn't just performing a song, he is executing a flawlessly calculated high-stakes global marketing campaign that instantly generates tens of millions of dollars in earned media value within seconds of the photos hitting social media. His solo debut album, Face, didn't just break records, it absolutely obliterated them, selling over 1 million copies on its very first day and moving over 1.45 million copies in its first week, proving that his fiercely dedicated global fan base is willing to invest astronomical amounts of capital into his solo artistry, a financial devotion that directly translates into unprecedented premium ticketing power whenever he announces a live event. And let us not forget the absolute sheer, unrelenting dominance of his second solo album, Muse, which he strategically dropped while actively serving his mandatory military enlistment. Yet the lead single, Who, still managed to absolutely dominate global streaming platforms, becoming Spotify's most streamed K-pop song of 2024, and proving that Jimin's earning power doesn't even require his physical presence to generate millions of dollars in passive mechanical and streaming royalties. When you factor in the elite exclusivity of his solo live appearances, where tickets for his intimate, highly curated live broadcast events became the single most sought-after commodity in the entire K-pop industry, his theoretical average revenue generated per individual performance easily eclipses the $2.5 million mark, placing him in an elite financial bracket reserved only for the absolute biggest names in human history. To fully grasp this, you have to look at the immense demand for his standalone performance on The Tonight Show, or his visually stunning solo stages at major end-of-year award shows, where television networks and production companies gladly pay exorbitant record-breaking appearance fees just to secure 5 minutes of his ethereal, gravity-defying choreography, because they know his presence guarantees an instant, massive spike in global viewership and lucrative advertising revenue. His live performances are an intoxicating, hypnotic blend of breathtaking contemporary ballet, raw emotional vulnerability, and pitch-perfect vocal stability, heavily inspired by his intense personal reflections on the isolation and identity struggles he faced during the global pandemic, creating a deeply profound, almost theatrical live experience that fans are willing to pay ultra-premium VIP prices just to witness in person. And when the highly anticipated 2026-2027 BTS Global Comeback Tour finally kicks off, Jimin's cut of the colossal group revenue is going to be heavily bolstered by his newly established status as a Billboard Hot 100 charting titan and the undisputed golden child of the high fashion world, meaning his overall per-concert take-home pay is guaranteed to be absolutely astronomical. From a young, fiercely dedicated contemporary dance student in Busan who almost didn't make the final cut for the BTS debut lineup because of his unconventional vocal style, to becoming the absolute highest charting Korean solo artist on the Billboard 200 and a multi-millionaire luxury icon whose mere presence can crash the stock market of a fashion brand, Park Jimin's financial journey is a stunning, deeply inspiring tale of relentless perfectionism. He is the man who will spend 10 agonizing hours in a practice room perfecting a single microscopic hand gesture, pushing his body to the absolute physical breaking point just to ensure that every single time he steps out into the blinding stadium lights, his performance is so flawlessly captivating that it completely justifies his astronomical price tag, leaving audiences utterly breathless and corporate sponsors eagerly throwing blank checks in his direction. Behind the soft smiles and the polite, gentle demeanor lies a fierce, unbelievably competitive business mindset that understands the exact value of his artistry in the global marketplace, refusing to settle for anything less than absolute legendary status. So, if the man who literally conquered the American Billboard charts, achieved double platinum certification in the United States, and completely hypnotized the elite fashion houses of Europe is only sitting at number 3 on our list, can you even begin to imagine the absolutely terrifying, earth-shattering financial empires controlled by our final 2 members? The stakes have never been higher, the numbers are becoming almost impossible to comprehend, and the battle for the ultimate crown of live performance wealth is about to reach its explosive, legendary climax. So don't even think about blinking, because you are not going to want to miss what happens next.
Number 2. Kim Tae-young, the luxury Midas touch and Celine's billion-dollar prince. Are you prepared to enter the absolute pinnacle of visual power and high fashion dominance? Because taking the number 2 spot on our explosive countdown is a man whose very existence literally dictates the global luxury market. The breathtakingly gorgeous, deeply soulful, and effortlessly captivating Kim Tae-young, universally known as V. To truly understand the sheer terrifying economic gravity of Kim Tae-young when it comes to concert earnings, you have to look far beyond the basic mechanics of ticket sales and streaming royalties, because V has fundamentally transcended the traditional boundaries of a K-pop idol to become a living, breathing, high-yield luxury asset. When we talk about his per-concert earning potential, we are looking at an individual who doesn't even need a grueling 70-city solo stadium tour to generate hundreds of millions of dollars. His financial power lies in his absolute, unprecedented monopoly over the elite global endorsement space and his historic, record-shattering social media dominance. Let us break down the undeniable facts. Taeyong is the absolute undisputed king of Instagram, holding multiple Guinness World Records for being the fastest individual on the planet to reach 1 million and then 10 million followers, a digital influence so overwhelmingly powerful that his single promotional post can literally crash the servers of international corporations. This unprecedented digital supremacy is exactly why the most prestigious, gate-kept luxury houses in the world were literally fighting tooth and nail to secure him as their global ambassador the very second BTS announced their solo endeavors. Enter the absolute titans of the luxury world. The iconic French fashion house Celine and the legendary high jewelry titan Cartier. When Celine officially crowned him as the ultimate Celine boy and brought him to Paris Fashion Week, the ensuing global hysteria was so massive that financial reports indicated the brand experienced an unbelievable 51% growth surge directly linked to his ambassadorship. Hashtags combining his name and the brand racked up millions of views, fundamentally breaking the internet every single time he stepped out of a car. But if you want to understand true, unadulterated financial panic, look at what happened when Cartier announced him as the global ambassador for their elite Panther de Cartier collection. Within minutes of the campaign images dropping online, an exclusive, hyper-luxurious Panther necklace priced at an eye-watering $26,700 absolutely and completely sold out globally, causing international Cartier websites to crash under the sheer volume of elite buyers scrambling to purchase whatever piece of jewelry he happened to be touching. This is what the industry terrifyingly refers to as the Midas touch, an economic phenomenon where anything Taeyong wears, touches, or even glances at instantly turns into millions of dollars in revenue. Now imagine taking that level of earth-shattering commercial power and placing it directly onto a concert stage. When Taeyong steps out in front of 70,000 screaming fans during a massive BTS stadium tour or during an exclusive, highly curated solo showcase for his critically acclaimed jazz and R&B-infused solo album Layover, his appearance fee is heavily subsidized by the astronomical earned media value he generates. Corporate sponsors, broadcast networks, and international promoters are willing to pay absolute top-tier, record-breaking premiums just to have his face associated with their events, because they know that his mere presence guarantees a level of viral, global engagement that no amount of traditional advertising money could ever possibly buy. His debut solo album, Layover, released in September 2023, was a massive, cinematic masterpiece that perfectly encapsulated his deep, soulful baritone voice, moving a staggering 1.67 million copies on its very first day of release and dominating iTunes charts in over 65 countries, proving that his fiercely loyal fanbase is deeply invested in his artistic vision. Unlike the high-octane hip-hop or intensely choreographed pop tracks of his bandmates, Taeyong took an incredibly bold, artistic risk by filling his album with smooth jazz, lo-fi R&B, and deeply emotional ballads like Slow Dancing and Rainy Days, performing them with a raw, vintage vulnerability that completely mesmerized audiences. Let us take a deeply emotional step backward to truly appreciate the incredible depth of his solo artistry. Long before Layover, Taeyong had already conquered the global charts with his breathtakingly emotional original soundtracks, such as the record-breaking Sweet Night for the hit drama Itaewon Class, which literally took over iTunes charts worldwide, and the heart-wrenching Christmas Tree for Our Beloved Summer, which historically made him the first Korean soloist to debut an OST on the prestigious Billboard Hot 100 chart. These monumental musical achievements showcase a man whose deep, resonant voice is capable of carrying the emotional weight of an entire cinematic universe, translating directly into highly exclusive, ultra-premium live performance demands. His fans, whom he deeply loves and famously united with the iconic, globally recognized phrase, "I purple you," a cultural phenomenon so massive that it literally became an official marketing color for international corporations like Samsung and McDonald's during their BTS campaigns, are fiercely dedicated to ensuring his absolute supremacy in every single market he touches. But his financial portfolio doesn't stop at high fashion. His unbelievable marketability spans across diverse sectors, becoming the face of the Indonesian investment platform SimInvest, driving their app users from 6 million to a staggering 15 million almost overnight, and securing massive multi-million-dollar deals with brands like Compose Coffee, where his winter campaign literally caused sales to skyrocket across the nation, and Coca-Cola Korea, continually proving his unmatched versatility as a commercial powerhouse. When you combine his historic solo album sales, his unprecedented digital monopoly, and his staggering multi-million-dollar luxury endorsement contracts, you begin to realize that when Taeyong hits the stage for the highly anticipated 2026 group stadium tours, his individual baseline earning power is virtually incalculable. Every single time he flashes a Cartier ring during a vocal run or seductively glides across the stage in custom Celine tailoring, he is triggering a global economic event, turning the concert venue into the most exclusive high-stakes fashion runway on the planet. He is a man who can silence an entire stadium with a single smoldering gaze, whose deep, resonant voice can bring audiences to tears, and whose incredibly sharp, intuitive business sense has secured him a fortune that rivals the gross domestic product of small nations. He completely redefined the visual and commercial aesthetics of modern pop culture, proving that true star power is an intoxicating blend of undeniable raw talent, fierce individuality, and an aura of untouchable elite luxury. From a young, hidden member of a struggling rookie group from a small agency who wasn't even revealed until the very last minute before their debut, to becoming the absolute highest valued commercial face in the entire global entertainment industry, Kim Taeyong's financial journey is a stunning, awe-inspiring testament to the sheer power of magnetic charisma and uncompromising artistic authenticity. Yet even with all of this unimaginable wealth, absolute fashion dominance, and history-making social media supremacy, he still only sits at the number 2 spot on our countdown. Which brings us to the ultimate million-dollar question that is guaranteed to keep you up at night. Who could possibly out-earn the Celine boy, and what kind of apocalyptic world-conquering financial empire does the undisputed number 1 member hold? Are you completely prepared to meet the final boss of the global pop industry?
Number 1. Jungkook, the golden maknae who broke the global economy and conquered the world. Are you sitting down? Because we have finally reached the absolute summit of our multi-million-dollar mountain, and claiming the undisputed number 1 spot is the youngest brother of the group, the unstoppable force of nature, and the literal golden boy of the global music industry, Jungkook. To even begin to comprehend the catastrophic financial magnitude of Jungkook's per-concert earning power, we have to look at how he practically single-handedly carried the weight of the global pop industry during his unprecedented solo era. When Jungkook dropped his solo debut single, 7, he didn't just break records, he completely shattered the very fabric of Spotify history, hitting 1 billion streams faster than any male artist in the entire history of the platform, and debuting straight at number 1 on the US Billboard Hot 100, proving that his individual commercial drawing power isn't just massive, it is completely unrivaled by almost any other pop star alive today. Because he reached this god-tier level of global chart dominance, his baseline appearance fee for any solo live performance became a number that most promoters can only dream of affording. Think back to the absolute pandemonium of November 2023, when he shut down the very center of the universe by hosting a surprise guerrilla concert on the TSX Entertainment stage in the middle of Times Square, New York City. Within minutes of the announcement, tens of thousands of people flooded the streets, causing unprecedented gridlock in one of the busiest cities on Earth, completely mesmerizing the massive crowd with live renditions of tracks from his record-breaking solo album, Golden. While that was a free promotional event, financial analysts calculated that the earned media value, the immediate spike in global digital sales, and the sheer cultural impact generated by that single 15-minute performance was worth tens of millions of dollars in corporate marketing, fundamentally cementing his status as a performer who dictates the entire global economy every time he touches a microphone. But to calculate his true net worth and per-concert value, we absolutely must talk about his earth-shattering entrance into the high-fashion world as the ultimate global brand ambassador for Calvin Klein jeans and underwear, a partnership that completely redefined modern celebrity endorsement. When the first campaign images of Jungkook wearing Calvin Klein dropped, he didn't just break the internet, he literally sent the stock price of Calvin Klein's parent company, PVH Corp., soaring to a record high, triggering an astronomical 20% increase and adding nearly $1 billion in market valuation almost overnight, a terrifying display of financial leverage that proves his fan base possesses purchasing power that is completely unmatched in the modern commercial landscape. Every single time Jungkook performs on stage, whether it is executing flawless, high-octane choreography for Standing Next to You or delivering soul-piercing vocals during an acoustic set, his status as the face of an iconic American heritage brand adds a massive premium to his overall performance value. We also have to acknowledge the absolute historic milestone of his solo performance at the opening ceremony of the FIFA World Cup in Qatar, where he performed the stadium-shaking anthem Dreamers in front of a live global television audience of nearly 1 billion people, making him the first South Korean artist in history to ever achieve such a monumental feat, securing a performance check and royalty stream that officially placed him in the same elite financial bracket as global superstars like Shakira and Michael Jackson. And what makes his journey so profoundly emotional is that this is the same shy, introverted boy who moved to Seoul from Busan at just 15 years old, so terribly homesick that he would cry himself to sleep, only to be fiercely protected and raised by his 6 older brothers who recognized his limitless potential. He grew up inside the practice rooms, absorbing the absolute best traits of every single member: Namjoon's leadership, Jin's confidence, Yoongi's musical dedication, Hobi's work ethic, Jimin's precision, and Taeyoung's stage presence, forging himself into an absolute ultimate weapon of live entertainment who can sing, rap, dance, produce, and direct with terrifying perfection. As the industry braces for the highly anticipated 2026-2027 BTS full group global tour, which financial experts predict could pull in well over $1 billion with record-breaking ticket prices and monstrous merchandise sales, Jungkook returns from his military enlistment not just as the youngest member of BTS, but the single most influential Hallyu solo star on the planet, heavily sought after by every major corporate entity in existence. His concert earnings are the culmination of a decade of blood, sweat, and literal tears, reflecting a young man who gave his entire youth to the stage and was rewarded with the keys to the global kingdom, proving once and for all that when the golden maknae steps up to the microphone, the whole world doesn't just listen, they pay the absolute highest premium just to witness history in motion. So there you have it, pop culture detectives, the ultimate mind-bending financial breakdown of the BTS concert empire. Who shocked you the most, and whose live performance are you willing to empty your bank account to see in 2026?
And there you have it, pop culture detectives, the definitive, mind-blowing breakdown of the absolute wealthiest, most commercially powerful band in the entire history of live entertainment. But here is the most beautiful, poetic truth hidden behind all of those astronomical figures, record-breaking endorsement deals, and multi-million-dollar stadium sellouts. At the absolute core of this terrifying financial empire are just 7 boys who started with literally nothing, sharing a cramped single-bedroom dorm in Nanhyundong, eating cheap convenience store food, handing out flyers on the streets of Los Angeles just to get 200 people to their free show, and fiercely fighting for their right to simply be heard in an industry that initially completely rejected them. When you look at those individual concert earnings, it is incredibly easy to get entirely lost in the sheer, unimaginable scale of the wealth. But what truly makes BTS an unstoppable, unshakable anomaly in the ruthless global music machine is their unbreakable bond and profound humility. They don't operate as seven greedy soloists fighting for a bigger piece of the pie. They operate as a deeply unified billion-dollar brotherhood where a win for one is a monumental, earth-shattering victory for all. And let me tell you right now, if you thought their solo eras were financially apocalyptic and record-breaking, the entire global music industry is currently bracing itself for the absolute biggest economic tsunami in live touring history. With the official internet-breaking announcement of their highly anticipated 2026-2027 Ararang World Tour, the individual numbers we just talked about are going to look like absolute pocket change. We're talking about a historic global stadium run that is completely taking over the planet, kicking off with an explosive 3-night residency at the massive Goyang Stadium in South Korea this April and relentlessly tearing through the biggest venues on Earth. From the iconic Allianz Arena in Munich and the massive Stade de France in Paris to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London, all the way to a deeply emotional, monumental 2-night climax at the Gelora Bung Karno Main Stadium in Jakarta, Indonesia on December 26th and 27th, 2026. Financial experts and economic analysts are literally sweating over their calculators, projecting that this colossal reunion tour, supporting their highly anticipated studio comeback album Ararang, will effortlessly shatter the billion-dollar gross revenue ceiling, creating massive microeconomies in every single city they touch. Think about it. When BTS rolls into a city, they don't just sell concert tickets. They completely monopolize the local hotel industry, max out the public transportation grids, and cause local tourism revenues to skyrocket into the hundreds of millions in a matter of hours. Every single ticket, from the €80 nosebleeds in Brussels to the hyper-exclusive $1,000 VIP soundcheck packages in North America, is going to evaporate into absolute thin air the absolute very second the digital queues open on Ticketmaster and local ticketing platforms. Because when you buy a ticket to see Namjoon, Seokjin, Yoongi, Hoseok, Jimin, Taehyung, and Jungkook stand together as seven after years of grueling military service and completely dominating solo conquests, you aren't just paying for a standard pop concert. You are buying a front-row seat to a historic cultural phenomenon, an emotional homecoming, and a mesmerizing masterclass in live entertainment that will literally shake the concrete foundations of the stadiums they perform in. When that massive purple ocean of army bombs lights up the absolute pitch-black darkness of the stadium and the deafening roar of 70,000 people doing the official fan chant in perfect unison hits the stage, you are witnessing the undeniable proof that music completely transcends language, borders, and cultural barriers. They fundamentally proved that you do not need to sing entirely in English, you do not need to conform to manufactured Western pop standards, and you absolutely do not need to compromise your raw, authentic Korean identity to sit comfortably on the absolute highest, most lucrative throne of the global economy. So, as we wrap up this insane, mind-bending financial deep dive into the kings of K-pop, I want to hear from every single one of you down in the comments below. Which member's massive solo empire and luxury dominance surprised you the absolute most? And are you already preparing your bank accounts, your multiple devices, and your high-speed internet connections for the absolute bloodbath that will be the 2026-2027 Arirang World Tour ticketing war? Drop your thoughts, your favorite eras, and your ultimate survival strategies in the comments right now. Make sure you absolutely smash that like button until it turns blue, hit that subscribe button, and ring the notification bell so you never miss another deep dive into the hidden economics and thrilling secrets of your favorite global superstars. Until next time, pop culture detectives, keep dreaming big, keep streaming your favorite tracks, and always remember that even the absolute biggest, most powerful empires in the world started with just a single impossible dream.